I took a DNA test just to satisfy a bit of curiosity, but what I discovered shattered my entire world. My wife had been having an affair for 12 years. And the child I raised wasn't mine. I vanished without a word, but not before leaving behind a trail of destruction that made her regret ever betraying me. The test that changed everything started as a joke. My coworkers were passing around a link for a cheap DNA testing kit. Let's find out which of us has Viking blood, someone laughed. I shrugged, bought one, and mailed it in. Didn't think twice. My wife, Danielle, teased me, "You're going to be so disappointed when it comes back saying you're 99% boring white guy." We laughed at the time. We always laughed, or so I thought. The results came 3 weeks later. I got the email while sitting at the kitchen table, sipping coffee, as our 10-year-old daughter Emily drew crayon hearts beside me. The subject line read, "Your DNA results are ready." I clicked, expecting fun surprises. What I got was a glitch in the matrix. Because there, in the parent-child match section, Emily wasn't listed. At first, I thought it was a system error, but the FAQ said it clearly: if a biological parent is tested, their child will be listed under immediate DNA matches. I wasn't listed at all. A cold chill ran through me. My hand trembled. I refreshed the page, read every line again. Then I stood up, walked to the bathroom, locked the door, and stared at myself in the mirror. No way. This is a mistake. But deep down, somewhere under all the denial and confusion, I felt it, a shift. The last 12 years flashed in my mind, the sudden work trips, the moments she looked at Emily strangely, the nights she pulled away from me, things I dismissed, things I chose not to see. Looking for confirmation, I ordered a second kit, this time a paternity-specific test. I swabbed my cheek, then Emily's, carefully. Quietly, I told her it was a fun science game. I didn't sleep for 4 days. When the results came back, it was official, 0.00% match. I was not the biological father. And just like that, my world shattered. The rage underneath, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I smiled. Because the moment I saw those numbers, something broke inside me, but not in the way she expected. Danielle had no idea that the man she betrayed for over a decade wasn't going to yell. He was going to vanish. And before he did, he'd make her regret every second of it. The lies beneath the surface. I sat on the bed that night and looked at Danielle. She was reading a book, some cheesy romance novel. Irony at its peak. She glanced at me. "You were quiet tonight." "Just tired," I replied. She nodded, oblivious. I had to be careful now. The DNA test was only the beginning, and I wasn't going to confront her with half the story. I needed everything, every lie, every lover, every truth she buried. So I began digging, digital archaeology. Danielle was careless with her digital life. That same night, while she showered, I accessed her iPad synced with her phone. Her messages were clean, too clean. But iCloud never forgets, and in the deleted folder, I found them. Flirty texts to someone saved as Mason, work photos I hadn't taken of her in lingerie, a chat thread that stretched back over a decade. "God, I wish I could spend every night with you. He's asleep, you can sneak in. She's growing up so fast. She has your nose." My chest burned. The texts were dated 2 weeks after Emily was born. A name and a face. I did my research on Mason. He was a coworker of Danielle's at her old marketing firm, married with 2 kids of his own, until recently, that is. Turns out he got divorced 3 years ago. His wife cited long-standing infidelity in the court documents I found online. Guess who was mentioned in the depositions? Danielle. The pieces clicked into place like the final turns of a locked puzzle box. She'd been living 2 lives, one as my devoted wife, the other as his dirty secret. And somehow, she thought I'd never figure it out. The plan begins. I didn't tell her what I knew, not yet. Instead, I started taking silent steps. I pulled half our joint savings into a new account. I contacted a lawyer discreetly. I bought a burner phone and a storage drive, and I recorded everything. Texts, receipts, DNA results, old family photos with me holding a child that was never mine. Each file was a thread in the noose. Each day, I played the part of a loving husband, but every night, I planned her ruin. The vanishing. 2 weeks, that's how long I spent preparing my quiet disappearance. I booked a storage unit under a false name, rented a short-term apartment 2 towns away, moved clothes and essentials bit by bit, always when Danielle was asleep or at yoga class. I started fading from my own life like a ghost. She didn't notice. She thought I was tired from work. She thought I was just going through a phase. But really, I was becoming her reckoning. The goodbye letter she'd never forget. The final step was the letter. Handwritten, 3 pages. Calm. Precise. I didn't rant. I didn't scream. On paper, I explained the DNA test, the texts, the photos, the timeline of her lies that I'd reconstructed with surgical detail. I ended with, "You took 12 years of my life and called it love. You stole a fatherhood I never truly had, and called it fate. So now I'm taking something back, my silence, my absence, and your illusion of a clean escape. You don't get closure. You get consequences." I left it on the kitchen table next to Emily's favorite drawing, a stick figure family with my name under Daddy. That broke me. But I didn't stop, because she had broken much more. The fallout. I vanished the next morning. My number disconnected. My social media wiped. My workplace told I was taking an extended leave. A pre-arranged NDA and compensation package kept my disappearance quiet. By the time Danielle realized I was gone, it was too late. What I'd left behind inside her inbox: scheduled time deliveries, the DNA results, a folder of her messages with Mason, copies of the legal documents from Mason's divorce naming her, a link to an anonymous blog I created detailing my entire side of the story. Private, password protected, but she'd know others had read it. I didn't blast it to the world. I wasn't vindictive for attention. I was calculated for impact. Danielle had no idea where I was or if I'd ever return. All she knew was that her carefully curated life had imploded overnight, and it was just the beginning. The collapse. By the time Danielle read the letter, I was halfway across the country. I imagined her face as she skimmed the pages, the denial, the confusion, the panic when she realized this wasn't a joke. I had vanished without a trace, but the trail of destruction I left behind, that was very real. Her first mistake? She called my family first, my mother, my brother, my cousin. But I'd already told them everything months before I disappeared. Her sobs fell on cold ears. "We know what you did, Danielle," my brother told her. "You deserve whatever's coming." She didn't get the sympathy she expected. She got silence, shame, doors slammed in her face. Then came her second mistake: she tried to reach out to Mason. But Mason had already been exposed. Mason's downfall: one of my timed emails went to Mason's ex-wife. Inside were screenshots, dates, a full timeline of his affair with Danielle, including moments that directly impacted his own divorce case. She forwarded the files to his boss. HR launched an immediate investigation. In less than 48 hours, Mason was terminated. When Danielle finally reached him, he lashed out. "You promised this was over. Now my job's gone, my ex's lawyer is coming after me again, and you're radioactive." And just like that, her escape plan crumbled, the reputation she couldn't escape. But it didn't end there. You see, Danielle worked in PR. Her career depended on perception, on image, on being likable. That blog I created? It didn't stay private for long. A few well-placed comments on anonymous forums, a leak to a subreddit, suddenly people were asking questions. Is this about Danielle W. in Denver? Wait, is she the one who helped Mason cheat during his divorce? I know her from LinkedIn. I always knew something was off. The industry is small. Within a week, her employer asked her to step down for image reasons. Her career, done. The message that made her break. A month later, I got a message from an unknown number. "Danielle, I lost everything. Are you happy now?" Then another: "Danielle, please. I never meant to hurt you like this." And then a photo of her sitting on the floor of our empty house, surrounded by unopened bills and custody papers. No makeup, no filters, just ruin. The final blow. The text messages kept coming day after day. "I miss you. Please come home. Emily asks about you." Except Emily wasn't mine, and I was never coming back. But I didn't block her. Not yet. Because I wanted her to feel every word she typed bouncing into a void. No reply, no closure, just the deafening echo of her own regret. The public apology attempt. 2 weeks later, she tried a stunt. She wrote a long post on social media, a reflection on her past mistakes, a confession, a tearful photo, a plea for forgiveness. It was transparent. But it went viral. And not in the way she hoped. So now you're a victim? You ruined a man's life for over a decade. Where was this honesty before he vanished? The comments were brutal. The sympathy she sought turned into humiliation. She deleted the post within hours. Then she did the unthinkable. She drove 3 states just to find me. She showed up at the doorstep of my new apartment, disheveled, makeup smeared, eyes swollen from crying. I opened the door and stepped outside, calm, distant. She dropped to her knees right there on the sidewalk. "Please," she sobbed. "I know what I did was unforgivable, but I never stopped loving you." "You stopped loving me," I said quietly. "The moment you looked into another man's eyes and chose him over and over for 12 years. She clutched my hand. "You raised her. That has to mean something." "It does," I replied, pulling away. "It means I gave love to someone else's child for a decade out of ignorance." I handed her an envelope. Inside, a notarized notice waiving all claims to shared property, a formal disavowal of paternity, the final closure papers from the court, and a note. "There's no going back. There's no us. And from now on, there's no me in your world at all." Her final look: she looked up at me, mouth trembling, and for the first time since this began, she knew this wasn't rage. This wasn't vengeance. This was goodbye. And it cut deeper than any screaming match ever could. I walked back inside. She didn't follow. The quiet after the storm. A year had passed. No more letters. No more calls. No more sleepless nights replaying 12 years of lies. Just peace. I'd settled into a small but warm home by a lake in Vermont, the kind of place where the air was still and the only sound was wind rustling through the trees. And in that stillness, I started to heal, reclaiming myself. I began painting again, a hobby I'd lost somewhere between marriage counseling and pretending everything was okay. I spent mornings with coffee and silence, afternoons reading the books I'd put off for years, evenings hiking trails alone, and not once feeling lonely. I wasn't rebuilding the man I was. I was becoming someone entirely new, someone who didn't measure his worth by someone else's affection, someone who knew that betrayal didn't make him broken. It made him wiser, sharper, unshakable. Emily, she reached out once. A letter, handwritten, clumsy, full of tears and ink. She asked if I hated her, said she missed me, said she didn't care who her biological father was, she still saw me as dad. I didn't respond right away, but I did eventually write back, carefully. You are innocent in all of this. You didn't choose how your life started, but you can choose how it goes. I'll always care for you, but I can't be part of that life anymore. Not for now. It hurt to send, but it was the truth. Danielle? She remarried quickly, desperation, I suspect. But the world never forgot. The blog stayed online. The whispers followed her into new offices. New friends always seemed to discover something that made them pull away. That was my final revenge. She'd have to live in the very world she created, stripped of illusions, haunted by the memory of who she pretended to be. No loud explosions. No ruined cars or public outbursts. Just the quiet, inescapable consequence of character. Closure. Sometimes I still wonder what might have happened if I never took that DNA test. Would I still be tucking in a child who wasn't mine? Would I still be waking up beside a woman who smiled like a wife and lied like a thief? That test didn't destroy me. It freed me. And though the truth shattered my world, it also gave me a chance to build something real from the rubble, something stronger, something honest, something mine. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story. Share it with someone who needs this energy. And subscribe to Lauren's story for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice, because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp. Stay strong. And stay tuned.